What's going on, guys? Zuko back with another Dragonflight video. How are y'all doing? Hope you're doing well. Listen, we're talking about Arms Warrior. We are continuing the Warrior theme. I'm going to do Prot last because it's my favorite. Best for last. The other ones are good, actually, but definitely Prot is the one I have the most time on. But this is looking good. Arms Warrior is looking good. I should make a mention. There was somebody in the YouTube comments yesterday that had like a very long comment about Fury Warrior, and I think I actually agree with most of his points. So Fury is looking like okay, but the right side of the Fury tree is pretty rough, honestly. The stuff that has to do with like Raging Blow was not very satisfying, and so I do hope that Blizzard takes note and maybe makes some changes over there. But we're gonna move on to the Arms Warrior tree. We're going to look at arms in Dragonflight, this first iteration of the talent tree. What does it look like, and what are we kind of getting ourselves in for? So, the structure of the tree. Let's do that first. Let me just say that you've got a bunch of sort of overpower, rage generation stuff over here, and bleeds. There's a brand new kind of bleed archetype build that we're going to get into. I'll talk about it in a minute. Then in the middle, you've got your buffs, of course. This is almost how every tree goes. You've got things like Tactician, things like Sweeping Strikes, things like Blade Storm. You know, that's how the middle tends to go. And there's a lot of AoE in the middle here as well. Merciless Bone Grinder at the bottom. On the right-hand side, we've got Colossus Smash, Cleave. Anger Management is here. This was a big criticism of the Fury tree, actually, is that Anger Management is a choice node. That's like down at the bottom, and Arms just has it up here for free, basically. Like you can path through this multiple different ways. It just seems like it's a much better placed. And then we have a new Skull banner down here. We'll get to that, and sort of a single target focused build over here. I guess except for Warbringer, but certainly Exploiter seems like a single target focused thing. So let's get into it. Let's start with the class tree really quickly. Let me talk about like what you're getting from the class tree, and keep in mind a very important topic when we're talking about Arms Warrior. The biggest problem that Arms Warrior has is that it can't generate rage very well, right? It just doesn't generate rage except for its auto attacks, which generate a tremendous amount of rage. That tends to be the most popular way that it generates rage is from auto attacks. In Shadowlands right now, you know, there are ways to help with your rage generation, like War Machine, Sudden Death, and Skullsplitter. However, like, you don't really ever take Skullsplitter or War Machine because Sudden Death tends to just be better and provides more damage, and you get rage other ways, like things with Spear of Bastion or the Necrolord ability. There's other ways to get rage down here. Obviously, In for the Kill gives you haste. Avatar gives you 20 rage, and then Deadly Calm gives you like a bunch of free rage spenders. So it saves you rage, allows you to use your abilities for free, and then you can generate rage as well while doing that. Ravager's also here. So the problem with Arms Warrior in a lot of ways is that it's had to choose all these different things, right? You get 1 out of 3 here. You get 1 out of 3 here. And you don't get to pick all 3 of them if you want to. If you want Dreadnought, then you're not getting Ravager, so you're not. Obviously, you get Blade Storm anyway, and Blade Storm does sort of generate rage for you. But in Dragonflight, we get all of these things. And it's a massive quality of life change for rage generation. So, like, War Machine is right here, right? The maximum rage increase that Deadly Calm used to give you, which is, like, right here, right? Gave you 30 extra rage. That's now here. So, 30 extra rage. Your auto attacks give you 50% more rage. Frothing Berserker is here, which is a Fury Warrior talent that now is accessible for arms, so which is very, very strong. And Frothing Berserker can actually be comboed with Execute, improved Execute as well, but you can get the Sudden Death proc on Execute, right? It's usable as if it spent 40 rage, and then you might, it'll refund its cost. It refunds 20 of the rage to you. So it's like you spent 40 rage, but you actually spent 0. But then you're refunded 20 rate, not 20% of 40, which would be 5, I think. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. No. It's more than that. 40. It's like 10. No, it's like 8. You get like 8 rage back or something. I hope I'm doing my math right. So you get a free proc on execute, right? And you cast it as if it spent 40 rage. You get 8 rage back automatically. And you might get another 8 rage automatically from Frothing Berserker. So again, lots of rage coming back. So War Machine, Frothing Berserker. We've got improved execute with sudden death. That whole combo. On top of that, you still have your generators that you've already had right now. You have Spear of Bastion, 25 rage. Avatar, 20 rage. And then you're going to get Skullsplitter, 20 rage. Deadly Calm. And your next 4 abilities cost nothing. Like, there are so many ways to get rage back that you didn't have access to all at the same time before. These were all fighting for positions here. You can now get War Machine and Sudden Death and Skullsplitter. You can get Avatar and Deadly Calm. And in for the kill, but let's just look at straight up gains here. On top of that, there's new ways to get rage. Like right here with Blood Surge, your periodic bleed effects give you rage. So the main problem at the outset for Arms Warrior, which is how do we generate rage besides just auto-attacking? How do I get rage consistently? That is going to be like mostly solved in Dragonflight. Because you're just going to be getting access to talents that you didn't have access to at the same time. And you're getting new ways to generate rage as well. So, very, very strong opener, in my opinion, for Arms. Like, one of the biggest problems is kind of, I think, going to be solved to a degree. Okay, let's talk about the new build that's going to be coming in for Mythic Plus for Arms. It involves having Rend plus the Blood and Thunder on Thunderclap here. So, whenever you Thunderclap and somebody has Rend on them, you apply Rend to 5 nearby enemies. So that's pretty cool because you can combine that with things like Bloodletting, which makes the Deep Wounds and Rend and Thunderous Roar last 6 seconds longer, and Blood Surge. Your periodic bleed effects have a chance to give you 5 rage. Imagine 6 targets bleeding with Rend, and you've hit them all with like a Cleave as well, which Cleave does apply deep wounds, right? So you run into melee, you charge in, you rend somebody, and then you Thunderclap. Now there's 6 rends going. Then you Cleave, and it hits all enemies in front of you. Now they're all bleeding as well. So you have 6 enemies bleeding with rend. Everybody else is bleeding with your deep wounds. On top of that, you pop Thunderous Roar in the cone in front of you, and now they're all bleeding again. You have 3 bleeds going on. They're all lasting 6 seconds longer, and they're all having a chance to give you 5 rage. I mean, I think that combo alone is going to be completely insane in Mythic Plus, right? Like, even just like consistently, you won't have Thunderous Roar. Actually, you'll have Thunderous Roar on every pack, basically, but let's pretend you didn't. You will always at least have the ability to Thunderclap Rend with Cleave on every pack, and that's a double bleed going on at least like 6 or 7 targets twice. So you have 12 to 14 targets all bleeding. Every time they tick, they have a chance to give you 5 rage. Like, I mean, that's insane. That's insane, the amount of rage. We're not even talking about regular rage generation, which is like your auto attacks. And if you pop Avatar, if you throw Spear of Bastion down, if you pop Deadly Calm at the beginning of the pull, like, what the hell? This is crazy. So the rage generation is monstrous. A lot of it coming from the class tree. Yeah, it's just really, really strong. One other thing you can get from the class tree is Signet is still alive and well. You're going to have access to Avatar and Bladestorm. So you'll have 2 out of the 3. It's not as good as Fury. Fury has access to all 3. But you can have 2 out of the 3, which is not bad. All right, let's get to the tree. Let me just back this up a little bit. We obviously have Mortal Strike, Overpower. We've got Tactician here. Improved Execute, like I talked about before. We have Fervor for Battle, which is Whirlwind slamming your primary target. There's something going on with Slam here. I want you to look at this. Slam deals 25% more damage here. Slam deals 25% more damage here. 50% more damage on Slam. Slam does 10% more damage here. 60% more damage on Slam. Slam, Whirlwind also slams your target. Seismic Reverberation. If Whirlwind hits 3 or more enemies, it hits them an additional time. I don't think that sends out an additional slam. Somebody who mains Arms Warrior or just Warrior in general, if you've played around with this, I think you can actually play around with this. Okay, Bean. You can't right now. I'm sorry. Say hello to everybody. Say hello. Hello, I'm a cute bean. I gotta go. So what I don't know is if you, I haven't tested this on live. So we have Fervor for Battle and we have Seismic Reverb. It's a conduit, right? Can you, if you Whirlwind, it'll slam them. If you hit 3 or more enemies and it whirlwinds a second time, does that second whirlwind also slam a primary target? And if it does, that's amazing. But I just wanted to note this: there's 60% more slam damage going on here. So there's, you know, that's a with all the extra rage you're going to be generating, there's probably going to be a very, very good like Mythic Plus slam whirlwind thunderclap bleed thunderous roar build. Like that's kind of what I'm thinking about there. Mortal Strike has a chance to reset its own cooldown. Very good. Here's the middle row right before we get to the second section. This is just the first section. The Concussive Blows is back. You can combine it with Honed Reflexes just like Fury can. You can have a 12-second kick that also gives you 5% more damage. This is absolutely the direction that Blizzard needs to be going with kicks. They need to encourage people to kick more and to because it gives you a bonus, just like Demon Hunters get a bonus, right? So, but giving warriors a 12-second kick is really cool. Puts them in the Shaman category, right? I think that's very cool. Sudden Death is here. We talked about that. Martial Prowess is here. Overpower increases the damage of your next Mortal Strike or Cleave by 20%. That's just like a baseline thing, right now. Now we're into the second tree. You also have Fueled by Violence. If you do need the sustain from your Deep Wounds, you can have like a Cleave Deep Wounds build going on in Mythic Plus. Might be good. I mean, you could also get Warbreaker. This is what's crazy, right? You can get Warbreaker and Cleave now, which is really, really cool. So, second row. Let's start on the left-hand side. We're into the second section here. Left-hand side. Impale. Your damaging critical strikes deal an additional 20% damage. There is a, like, critical strike damage build that exists here. It includes Impale, Spear of Bastion, so 20% from Impale, 25% from Elysian Might, and then Skullsplitter's another 20%. So you're up to like 45%, 65%, sorry, critical hit damage. And then if you're wielding a two-handed sword or axe, you get another 20%. So 85%. When you crit, you're going to do 85% more than you normally would. So instead of like 200%, you're going to do 285% more damage. When you have these cooldowns running, this is all cooldown dependent, but like kind of insane actually that you can have so much extra critical strike damage. As we said before, this is the rage generation overpower, so overpower damage right here. Dreadnought is here, two charges of overpower, so lots of overpower buffs here. Deadly Calm is here. Bloodborne is here. This is the bleeding section here. So damage of Deep Wounds, Rend, and Thunderous Roar. If you're doing a Thunderous Roar, Blood and Thunder, Cleave build, right? This is what you want. You want Bloodborne, and you're going to want to go get Bloodletting. So again, there's a bleed build going on here. And then we have, as part of the bleed build, sort of the centerpiece of the bleed build is going to be the new Skullsplitter. So you bash your enemy's skull, dealing damage. I need to open the game here really quick and check on something. So you bash their skull. Skullsplitter causes... Actually, I don't need to open it. I'm an idiot. Let's look right here. This is a 21-second cooldown on live. And they're turning it into a 24-second cooldown here. Now, I believe it goes down with haste. So maybe it's not a big deal. But anyway, it's going to generate 20 rage. What does it generate here? Same thing. 101% attack power, 147. So it does more damage, has a higher cooldown, generates the same rage. But this thing here is insane. When Skullsplitter damages an opponent, it causes your Deep Wounds and Rend effects to expire 200% faster. This is insane. This is like the bleed build, right? So you run in with, you charge in, you Rend, you Thunderclap, you Thunderous Roar, and you Cleave. You have 3 bleeds going out. And then you press Skullsplitter, and it pulls the bleeds out 200% faster. I don't know if it actually works on Thunderous Roar. I'm assuming it does. It doesn't say that it does. It just says Rend. Yeah, this just says your Rend effects and Deep Wounds. That would be Cleave and Thunderous, the Rend from Blood and Thunder. So anyway, cool idea though, right? It's like an assassination rogue type thing where You get all your bleeds rolling, and then you just and it just wrecks them. It just absolutely wrecks them. Plus, if you're pulling the bleeds out twice as quickly, guess what? Guess what? Your periodic bleeds have a chance to give you rage. So, like, every time they tick, they have a chance to give you rage, okay? And, like, you're going to pull them out twice as fast. You're just going to be, like, generating rage like crazy fast. So, some interesting combos there with Blood Surge. That's that side of the middle. Bleeding, Skullsplitter, Deadly Calm. The middle is just AoE, right? Sweeping Strikes, improve Sweeping Strikes, collateral damage. There is something to be said for collateral damage and Merciless Bone Grinder down here. There might be like a Whirlwind, because you can buff the damage of Whirlwind by 25% up here. You know, Whirlwind slams your opponent. And you have the collateral damage increasing your next Whirlwind damage. Merciless Bone Grinder increases your Whirlwind and Cleave damage. So a bunch of Whirlwind synergy there. Interesting choice note here. Exploit the weakness. Tactician's chance to trigger is increased as if you spend 3% more rage. What I'm understanding about that is that it takes Tactician from a 1.4% chance to a 4.4% chance per rage spent. That's how I'm reading that. If somebody else is understanding this differently than me, let me know in the comments down below, because I think that's what that means. Which is insane, by the way. That's really, really good. The other choice is Punishment, which is simply Condemn. They just didn't call it Condemn. So this is just Condemn from Shadowlands. Which, again, there is an Execute build here as well going on. I'll talk about that a little bit later. Okay. This was collateral damage or improves Sweeping Strikes. 2 seconds on Sweeping Strikes is kind of meh, but whatever. I would have preferred that this gave you an additional target, actually. If this gave you 1 additional target, so you could have 3 target cleave, that would be kind of cool. Here's Blood Surge. We've been talking about that. Here's the Whirlwind thing as well. Whirlwind costs 50% more rage and has a 10-second cooldown, but it now deals 200% more damage. So this might work with collateral damage, right? Where you pop Sweeping Strikes, and then your next Whirlwind will deal 25% more damage for each ability used during Sweeping Strikes. So you pop Sweeping Strikes, you do a bunch of abilities, you get like a 200% damage bonus on Whirlwind. You press Whirlwind once, and it just like kills everything. This does not work very well with Merciless Bone Grinder. Merciless Bone Grinder wants you to spam Whirlwind after Blade Storm. So this is really cool. This could like make a really, really beefy Whirlwind attack. Very cool. Okay, let's go to the right even more. We're not done the middle of the section tree yet. We have Colossus Smash over here with Cleave, like I've been talking about. Cleave gets its cooldown reduced by 2 seconds. Actually, a really good quality of life for Cleave, because you want to be refreshing your deep wounds, especially if you're running Blood Surge and Bloodletting and Bloodborne, all the blood stuff, right? You want to have Cleave up as much as possible. This essentially is like going to replace it just gives you that consistent AoE damage on everybody. So it's nice to see it go down to 4 seconds, because this is a button you want to be pressing. This is like your main AoE spender now, right? Choice note here. In for the kill for Colossus Smash Haste, or Test of Might, which is an old BFA Azurite trait, which was very, very strong in BFA. When Colossus Smash expires, your strength is increased by 1% for every 10 rage you spent, and it lasts for 12 seconds. So very, very good. It's very easy to spend rage pretty quickly, especially because you can generate rage so easily now. So I think Test of Might is like going to be way stronger than it was even in BFA, because you can generate so much more rage in Shadowlands than you could even in BFA. Like, you just have so many ways to generate rage. So, very, very good. I don't know how this works with Deadly Calm, like, because your next 4 rage abilities are free. So I don't know if it works at all with Deadly Calm. Like, it would be cool if like you used the ability and it worked with Test of Might as if you had spent rage, but I don't know if it actually works that way. So I'll have to know. Execute increases the damage of Execute by 3%. This is, again, leaning into the Execute build, which is going to be probably the single target. There's going to be like a Mortal Strike Execute build going on. Okay? Anger Management is here, which, again, we talked about how bad the Fury one was. Let me just show you the Fury one really quickly and why it's frustrating. So the Fury one is down here, all the way down here, and you have to choose between Reckless Abandon and Anger Management, right? It's way down here near the capstone stuff. For arms, like, you just pick it up for free. Like, it's just over here, man. You don't even have to invest that much. If you want to go left side build, you only really have to get, like, you're going to want Concussive Blows. You're going to want Colossus Smash. So then you just have to pick up 1, 2, 3 more points. And you're going to want Mortal Strike damage anyway. So, like, or if you want to do the Cleave build with the bleeds, then you can just run over, get Cleave, get Anger Management, and you're done. You don't have to pick anything else over here, right? You just back all this stuff off. So this is in a much better place than the Fury were. I don't know why Fury got wrecked so hard. Like, this is such a bad spot for Anger Management to be. So hopefully they fix that. Then we're moving down here. A Juggernaut. That was it. We got Juggernaut. That's the rest of that over there. So, and the cooldown on Cleave. So that's the middle section of the tree. You got, like, Rage Generation, Overpower, Bleed stuff. You got your Cleave, Colossus Smash, Test of Might. It's all about Colossus Smash over here. The middle is your AoE with Blood Surge. Let's get to the bottom of the tree, okay? You'll notice that there's very defined, like, sections here, right, going down. But you do get to cross over with Juggernaut or with Dreadnought. You can cross into the middle. So lots of flexibility, actually. Like, you could go down the middle and then just pick whichever one you kind of want. Or go down one of the sides and then jump into the middle from there, right? Let's look at the left side. This is the bleeding stuff I was talking about. Here's Battlelord, your Overpower. Again, this is the Overpower side of the tree. It has a 40% chance to reset the cooldown of Mortal Strike and reduce its rage cost by half. Mortal Strike is a 30 rage cost ability. You're going to reduce it by 15. That's pretty insane, actually. That's pretty insane. You can do a lot of Mortal Strike damage, like really, really crazy Mortal Strike damage. So there's that. Bloodletting, all your bleeds last 6 seconds longer. Once again, works really, really well with Skullsplitter. It's just a nice quality of life to not have to refresh your deep wounds that often, right? Does it tell me deep wounds? It doesn't tell me how long deep wounds is, but I think I looked in the game and a deep wounds is like 12 seconds, I think, or 15. But I think deep wounds lasts for 12 seconds. So you're adding 6 extra seconds onto your deep wounds, which makes it an 18-second duration. Then we have Fatality. This is a new passive. This is really interesting. Your Mortal Strike abilities against enemies above 30% health have a very high chance to apply Fatality. When an enemy falls below 30% health, your next execute inflicts additional damage. Basically, a double damage per stack. It's just going to do 100% more per stack, which is kind of ridiculous. Like, basically, on a raid boss fight, you're going to be pressing Mortal Strike. I don't know what else. I don't know why it says Mortal Strike abilities. Like, the Mortal Strike ability that they're talking about is the fact that it reduces the healing by 50%. But there's no other ability that you have that reduces healing by 50% except for Mortal Strike. I don't think. Somebody tell me if I'm wrong there. But I don't know. I don't think there's another Mortal Strike ability. Right? Anyway, the point is, this, like, I don't know. Let's say you get 4 or 5 Mortal Strikes off. Like, imagine if you just could, like, if you do Deadly Calm, right? Although it has a cooldown. Mortal Strike has a cooldown, so you're going to need to, like, get the cooldown on. Is there nothing that cools down Mortal Strike? I don't think there is. So, anyway, I don't know how many you can actually fit into the window here. Like, you might only be able to fit 3 or 4 Mortal Strikes in total. I'm not entirely sure, actually. This might not be super great, but let's pretend you can get 4 Mortal Strikes in the first 30% of a raid boss of their health, and then your next execute later on will do, like, 400% more damage. So it's, like, interesting idea. The problem is you just can't press Mortal Strike that often, so I'm not sure how good this really is. We'll have to see. Yeah, we'll have to see. We do have this here, right? So I guess this is what you would combine it with. This is where it gets potentially really good. If you're getting procs from Battlelord, then it's insane, right? This gets really, really, really strong. You Mortal Strike into Overpower, it gives you a proc. Into Mortal Strike, into Overpower, gives you a proc. Into Mortal Strike, into Overpower, gives you a proc. So you could get 6, 7, 8 of these. Then your next execute will do 800% more damage. So could be really good. I don't know. You don't get the payoff till later in the fight, though. Could be good in Mythic Plus, where you Sweeping Strikes. You use Sweeping Strikes on your Mortal Strike, so it hits 2 targets, and it procs on both of them. and then your next execute will already have 2 stacks built up. That could be kind of cool. So maybe some cool interaction in AoE. Let's look at the middle. Overall, I like the left side here a lot, actually. I like the bleeding. I like Battlelord. It's looking good. Let's look at the middle. So, Bladestorm is here. Again, more AoE. This is continuing the AoE theme. You do have Unhinged, which gives you a chance to Mortal Strike when you're Bladestorming, right? So again, I guess more ways to build up Finality. Then we have this choice node, Sharpened Blades. While using two-handed swords or axes, your critical damage is increased by 20%. Execute has a 10% increased crit chance. Or Blunt Instruments. When using two-handed maces, polearms, the damage and duration of Colossus Smash is increased by 30%. So, damage and duration of Colossus Smash is interesting. The duration's 10 seconds. So, the duration going up by 30% should add 3 seconds. So, it's 13. And the damage goes up by 30%. That's doing a lot of damage now. So, very cool, actually. Blunt Instruments is very, very cool. Sharpened Blades is cool, too. Again, this is the critical strike damage build, right? 25% critical strike damage from Spear of Bastion. Sorry, from Elysian Might. Plus 20%, so we're at 45% from Impale. Plus 20%, 65% here. Skull Banner is another 20. That's 85% critical strike damage. So, an interesting build there. Some sort of critical strike damage stuff going on. Merciless Bone Grinder is here. It's pretty cool. You can just spam Whirlwind with maybe Fervor for battle. Make sure you're taking Barbaric Training. Make sure you've got Seismic Reverberation. Make sure you take Crushing Force, so you're like slamming and whirlwinding all at the same time, and it's doing a lot of extra damage. So I like that. I like that style. You can also fit a Cleave in there. Let's go to the right side. Crit chance by 4. Again, there's always stats here. Mastery, versatility, crit by 4, and then your haste is over here if you want it. You can get 8% crit, by the way, twice. You can get 4% plus 4%. You can get 8% more crit, which would be kind of insane. So many stats for Warrior. We have Warbreaker, which is AoE Colossus Smash. We have Skull Banner. Here it is here. Throw a banner at your feet, empowering your allies. Increases the critical strike damage by 20% for party members within 20 yards of your war banner. It feels really bad that it's a 3-minute cooldown that only lasts for 10 seconds. Like, that feels very bad to me. It needs to be like a 2-minute cooldown that lasts for 15 seconds or a 1-minute cooldown that lasts for 10 seconds. Like, that feels like that would be appropriate. A 3-minute cooldown lasting 10 seconds is, like, kind of useless. Like, it's pretty bad. You're going to have to seriously coordinate with your entire team to make sure that they're getting the maximum benefit from this. Like, you want to use this when other people are using their cooldowns, but, like, how do you coordinate that? It just feels like on a 3-minute cooldown, it just feels kind of bad to me. So I hope they kind of buff this. Then we have Exploiter, which execute causes your target to take 50% more damage from your next mortal strike, stacking up to 2 times. So there's a lot of synergy here with execute. First of all, you've got Massacre over here. Execute's now usable on targets below 35% health. Okay. Then we have improved execute. No longer has a cooldown. And if your foe survives, 20% of the rage is refunded. Imagine combining that with Deadly Calm, right? And having punishment, right? Which is Condemn. So you pop Deadly Calm and you just go execute, 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 execute at the end in your opener, right? And you're getting just a bunch of damage bonuses. So you've got, this can be used on foes below 35% health. You've got above 80%, below 20%. You have improved execute right here. You have sudden death procs, which again can combine with Frothing Berserker to give you rage back. Deadly Calm, of course, buffing this whole playstyle. And then you have Exploiter down at the bottom here, which is giving you 50% more damage on your mortal strikes. So there's a bunch of execute synergy going on there, which is very cool. There's also Juggernaut as well. This is the last one. Your execute damage goes up by 3% each time you use it, stacking up to 20 times. That could be 60% more execute damage, guys. So like in the opener, when you press Deadly Calm and you execute 3-4 times in a row, you already have 12% more execute damage. So very, very cool stuff. That's definitely probably like a single target build. Getting a mortal strike / execute kind of build going on. And then, like I said before, I'll just recap really quickly. That's like your single target build, execute plus mortal strike. The AoE build is something like a Cleave plus Thunderclap, rending everything, bleeding everything, Thunderous Roar, getting a bleed there, pulling all those bleeds out 200% faster with Skullsplitter, you know, and you have Bloodborne plus Bloodletting plus Blood Surge, all giving you rage back and increasing the damage that you're going to do with your bleeds in an AoE situation. That's kind of that build as well. On top of that, you could also run a Signet style build if you want to. Get Bladestorm down here, get Avatar over here. You have Spear of Bastion. You know, you have a lot of cooldowns there. And then there's a bunch of cool things going on with Slam and Whirlwind. So big single target, or sorry, big cooldown on Whirlwind here, doing a lot of damage. But you could do a Merciless Bone Grinder build with Whirlwind and Fervor for Battle. Again, buffing the damage here. 25% Whirlwind damage, 25% slam damage, slamming your target with Whirlwind, 25% more slam damage here, more Whirlwind damage right here, and it doubles up Seismic Reverberation. So you combine Seismic Reverberation with Merciless Bone Grinder and collateral damage, and you're going to be whirlwinding with Deadly Calm, right? You charge into a fight, and you pop Deadly Calm, and then you just whirlwind, or sorry, then you pop Bladestorm, big damage, then pop Deadly Calm, then you whirlwind, 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 whirlwind. It just does so much damage. Like, that would be a crazy AoE build as well. Bladestorm into 4 whirlwinds plus a cleave. It's just going to be kind of crazy, and you're slamming the target the entire time. Very, very cool stuff. So that is Arms Warrior, and that's kind of it in a nutshell. I tried to explain the different paths as best I could here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Are there things that you don't like about this tree? Because just like with the Fury Warrior, had some really, really good comments there. I want you guys to give me some comments about Arms Warrior. What do you not like here? Do you think this is all pretty solid for a good start on Arms Warrior? Or do you think they've really screwed up somewhere? Let me know in the comments down below. Really important that you guys start that conversation. I'd love to have a chat with you guys about that stuff. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Drop a like if you liked it, and subscribe if you haven't already, guys. We're getting very, very close to 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. We want to get there, guys. We want to get there. 1.98. We were at 1.97 before. I want to do potentially like a big stream as the 2K subscriber mark. Like, I'm actually considering doing a 24-hour stream. So let me know what you guys think about that. I would love to do that for you guys. But let me know. Like, let me know what you guys think about it, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. Drop some likes on the video as well. Thank you so much again for watching. Patreon is also a way you can support me. I've got it's right here on the link. You can support me. There's a couple different tiers, 5, 10, 20, whatever you want to do. Hey, it says that I might like the $10 one. Look at that. I didn't even know it did that. You might want to be a gnome. If you want to be a gnome and support me on Patreon, get in there and press that button. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all. I will see you in the next one. Prot Warrior, baby. That's the next one. Prot Warrior.